Noon, good evening, or good night, wherever in the world you're watching from. On top of the day to you, blessings, more love, more life, more health, more wealth, and more strength. Yes, it's a blessing to be alive and well, able to move about freely. As you could see, it's another day. It's the middle of the week, so we give thanks that we live to see the rising of another day. Yes, many people went to bed and didn't make it on this side. So we give thanks. Breaking news. Today, the bill will go to the House to pass for the country to reopen because 8 Democrats voted with the Republican for the country to reopen. They said the people are suffering in their states. So they can't take it no longer. So they go against their own party. Chuck Schumer, a lot of people are calling for Chuck Schumer to resign, just like how they did with Nancy Pelosi. They say Chuck Schumer is a weak leader. He only cares about APAC and the lobbyists who finance his campaign, like the big pharmaceutical companies. They are the one who finance his campaign. Somebody running somebody back. So they are calling for him to resign. But if you just get up this morning, what are your thoughts? The country will reopen. I see we're a 16-year-old child in Gwinnett County asking for a donation to help families who are affected by the SNAP program. Lincoln Snyder, blessings. But 8 Democrats go against their party for the government to reopen. Yesterday we see where hundreds of flights was delayed because last week Friday they cut the workforce off by 10%. So the air traffic controllers they cut it by 10. So a lot of flight. So if you are heading out, make sure you call your airline before you head to the airport. A lot of people was furious yesterday because a lot of their flight was canceled, and when they go on the app, it said that the flight was still on. It's only when they went through TSA and everything state that hey, your flight was canceled. So if you're heading to the airport, if you have a flight, make sure you call the airline before you head out to the airport. Don't waste your day because flights are cutting by the hundreds. But good news. They said the bill will go to the House today, and they're going to try and see if they can get it to pass for the country to reopen because of the 8 Democrats who go against their party for the country to reopen. But what are your thoughts this morning? Because we see we're a lot of military family and federal workers are suffering. So do you think it's a good move by the Democrats to vote against their own party? They're calling for Chuck Schumer to go. Yes. They said Chuck Schumer is a weak leader, just like Nancy Pelosi. So they said Chuck Schumer must resign. Yes, the Republican Party didn't budge. They didn't surrender. They didn't retreat. They hold their end of their bargain like, hey, we know the Democrats, they are the weak party, so we're going to pressure them. And they're going to give in. Just like how those 8 senators give in. If you're a well-thinking American and you're a Democrat, I feel it for you. Because you hear what a senator state. He said, someone from his state, the Affordable Care Act, he was paying like $100 for his deduction. Now he gone up to $600. So it's like 500%. So what are your thoughts this morning? Do you think the Republicans gonna hold their end of the bargain by not cutting Obamacare and Medicaid and Medicare? We see where the president go after when he was the 45th president. They say he wanna get rid of Obamacare, as Obamacare costing the government too much money with all these subsidies. But America is a first world country. The rest of the world is laughing at America like, hey, how can you be a first world country and your people don't have health care? They don't have health insurance. Yes, because America don't care about the poorer class. Yep. They can pick up your children and send them to war, and they come back with PSD and suffering, and they're in the street walking like a zombie. And then they don't get the best care. But if anything happened to the president, he can just go into Walter Reed. Just like when he was 45 and have COVID, they fly him into Walter Reed, and by the next day he was out campaigning again. So do you think your government care about you, the average citizen? Let me know in the comment section. What are your thoughts this morning? The country will reopen if they vote today. Today is the 43rd day since the government shut down, and on the 1st of the month. That seems so long ago. But if you're just tuning into the live, blessings to you and your family, wherever you're watching from. Hope you're having yourself a wonderful morning. I hope you're staying blessed. And if you're watching from Jamaica or the Caribbean, our prayers are with you, because we see the devastation that Hurricane Melissa brings to the Caribbean, from the shore of Jamaica to the Bahamas. But yes, it is rather interesting in America, where a lot of people is suffering because of the government shutdown for 43 days. A lot of them have to turn to the food bank and pantry, churches, to get food, to feed their loved ones. But the judge passed a law that Donald Trump have to rehire everybody that he said he was going to fire during the shutdown and who on furlough. And he said some of them he was going to fire. The judge said he can't do that. That's unconstitutional. Sometimes our president just talking and talking and talking. I think it's everything he can do executive for. But remember, the Supreme Court is the law of the land, just like the Constitution. Going through Atlanta, not around Atlanta. If you're on 285 is like a circumference we go around. I'm on 20. So 20 go through Atlanta. Yes, but blessings and thanks for watching. It's your privilege. Blessings to you. Yes, the Democrats, they fold like a toilet paper. They give in to the Republicans because they say they want the country to reopen. But yes, it's a good thing that the country gonna reopen, because a lot of families suffering. A lot of military families, just like the government state, they might cuckoo. I don't know where you're from, but cuckoo in Jamaica is something else. Yeah. And you said cuckoo in Jamaica, that means you are insane. You're mad, you're mentally ill. So whatever you mean in like that. Yes, but it's the Republican who did shut down the country and their own government and their own people, and then seek help for the Democrats to help them to get the 60 vote that they need for the filibuster to reopen the country. But a lot of the Democrats, they are Republican. 8 of them who vote against their party, they are Republican hiding in disguise under the Democratic Party. Because if you're a well-thinking American and a well-thinking person, it's the Republican who shut down the country. And if you shut down your own government, why you need help to reopen it? You don't need no help to open it, because you're the one who closed it or shut it down. If you have a key and you go through your door or you close your door, you're the only one who have that key to open the door. Then you got to go back in, so you got to use that key to open the door. Blessings to you as well. God love you too, and you and your family. Hope you're safe wherever you're watching from. Yes. But because the Democrats are so weak, because the 8 of them who vote against the Democrat, they are Republicans. But they just vote on the Democratic, run on the Democratic tickets because they see that they can win. Because if you're a well-thinking person, you would think for yourself and what is for the best interest of your state and for your people. I guess a lot of the people from those 8 senators who vote against the Democratic Party, they don't see where Affordable Care Act benefiting the people of their state. Because when the Republican cut the Affordable Care subsidy, a lot of people gonna go without health care. And we see where the president trying to pass a bill where it said it's gotta be 50-year housing to get a mortgage. Right, so it's gonna move from 30 to 50. So imagine you at 60 years old have a mortgage for 50 years. We don't see where a lot of people nowadays live to 110. This president is doing some unthinkable and unimaginable things because he see where the housing market is taking a beating. But instead of he cut it to 25 years or 20 years, because we see where the lifespan of people not living past 80 or 90 like that no more. So if you are 50 years old and a first-time home buyer, and you get a 50 years mortgage, you're not going to pay for that house. And we see where the price is double. So they say if you was paying like 2,300 for your mortgage, when it's 30 years, and when it moves to 50 years, then you're gonna pay like 21 or 20. But over time, because it's 50 years, you're gonna pay 2 times the amount for that house. But if you are a mathematical person and you can think for yourself, then you're gonna see that it's not benefiting you. How can it benefit the average citizen? Not gonna benefit the average citizen. But because our government don't care about the people, you only care about the lenders, real estate markets, and because if you have a mortgage for what, say 30 years, you're like 50 now, you'll be still paying for that house all when you're 80. So a lot of people not gonna able to own a home. You have to buy a home when you reach what, in your early 20s, 30s. When you reach 40, then hey, you're not gonna able to have a home because all your earnings gonna go towards that house, and you're not gonna own the home. Yes, interesting time in America. The government shut down. Will it end today? After 43 days, 43rd consecutive days. But people of America are tired of the government shutdown where the supermarket lines and the shelves are empty. The airport lines are through the door. TSA lines are through the door. Your traffic controllers, they're not showing up to work because they haven't get paid. A lot of them said they have to be taken off because they can't afford to go to work because they're not getting paid. But your federal government getting paid, like the president, your senators, your congressman and woman, they are getting paid. But when they lobby, they're supposed to lobby like, hey, if we're federal workers, we're not supposed to get paid either. All of us are federal government workers. So if one not getting paid, all not supposed to get paid. And come to think of it, our first line of defense is the military. When they shut down the country, the military, they don't get paid. No. But yet, a lot of them still deployed. And they still have to go out and act like everything is normal. Why? Because they take an oath to serve and defend their country. So they got to go out and fight like there's no tomorrow, although they don't get paid. But they say once you're military, the government pay you to fight for them and live. So yesterday was Veteran Day, and a lot of veterans didn't get paid. What can go so in a first world country like America that tell you that hey, we are patriots? Do you think your government is patriotic? Do you think they are patriots? Although you see them with the American flags waving around? I don't think so. That's just my opinion. It's my opinion. But wherever you're watching from, blessings to you and your family. Have yourself a wonderful day and hope the federal government open today so people that are on furlough they could go back to work, make the country flow again. As Donald Trump said, make the country great again. And he shut down his government. So yes, so all the federal workers, they can go back to work and be great again. Because we're going to need all the workers to go back to work so they can get paid before Thanksgiving, which is Thanksgiving is 2 weeks away. So they can have their turkey. Because you know Thanksgiving is a big day in America. If you just tune into the live, blessings to you and your family. The birds are out. That means it's not gonna be a cold day. It's gonna warm up once you see the birds are flying about. But blessings, one love. I'm out.